Hello. Today we're online and I wanted to do a tech introduction activity working with Logger Pro a little bit more. And one of the things that I know is that it can help to have something to look back at, and it's also possible that you'll have trouble running Zoom and Logger Pro at the same time. So that's why I've recorded this video for you. This is going to be part of the activity that we have today. Which I've got open on the left-hand side of the screen. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, I have a document that I've shared with you that's mostly for me to follow along and make sure that I give you all of the right instruction to do with Logger Pro. So to begin with, you're going to need your data for looking at your heat of fusion lab. And then you're going to open up Logger Pro. So Logger Pro has this tool here. When it pulls open, you'll be greeted by a blank screen here with a data set X and Y. For me, the first thing I always do with Logger Pro is that the graph is a bit too big, so I shrink it down a bit, and I find the data table to be a little bit small, so I expand it out a bit. Now, we're going to be working with two different sets of values, the time and the temperature. And the time values that you have are going to go in the half-second intervals that you collected, and the temperatures are going to be the temperatures that you collected. The first thing you're going to want to do is to label up the columns in this data set. And to do that, you double-click to get the column options window. So the column options window here has the columns definition, and this is where I'm going to put my independent variable for X. So this is going to be the time heating. So I'll call the name of it time heating. There's a short name. This is for column headings and things where you might not see everything. So I'll use the variable T. And then there's a place to type in the units, which in this case, I'll use minutes. So I'll put MIN. And I'll click on Done. So there we have the new heading here. And you'll also notice that the graph updated to include that as the axis label. So the axis label can match here. Let's do the second one as well. So here I'll do temperature. I'll use the value, the short name capital T, and units will be, let's do C for Celsius. Actually, I think you can use a superscript from this drop-down menu. There we go. There's the degree symbol. So we have degrees Celsius. And I'll click Done. That automatically plots on the vertical axis. And now we're ready to start inputting the data. That's a part that's going to be a little bit boring. So I'll add that data and then restart the video. Okay, so now we have the data. I didn't have a set of paraffin data with me, so I used the data from the student lab document that was data that was collected for water, or actually simulated for water. So I have my data running down the side. The two columns, and you'll see that the graph got built here. Now, it's possible that your graph won't look exactly like you want, and so you may need to make some adjustments. One of the easiest adjustments to make is to make sure that all of the data fits on the screen. The auto scale button will adjust the window so that all of your data fits. So that's a useful tool to take a look at. The second thing that you can do is you can try to make it so that the size of the text fits nicely along with the size of the data. So you can resize your graph in this way. And finally, if you don't like the way that the data appear, you can adjust those inside of the options for the column. So here, the temperature is shown in red with open circles. But if I don't like that, I can go to the options menu, I can choose red, and I can choose the style of the circle. Maybe I want a filled circle, and I want it to be blue. So I can click on done, and now maybe I like the way that that data looks a little bit better. Now, the great thing about Logger Pro is that it makes it easy to look at any piece of this data a little bit more carefully. So I'm going to show you two tools that you can use to analyze your data. One is the statistics tool. So if, for example, I recognize that my temperature here looks like it's my temperature for vaporization, I can select the data here where the temperature is roughly constant, and then I can go to Analyze, Statistics, where is it? There it is, Statistics. And when you click on that, having selected data, you'll get this little window here that tells you statistics about the data that you selected. It tells me that I've chosen 10 samples. It tells me what the smallest value is, 99.8. It tells me what the largest value is, 106.7. And it tells me the average and the median. Now, you'll also notice that here, there's a couple of little brackets. It looks like I picked up one of these points that I didn't want. So I can take that bracket, I can hover over it, and then I can slide to select a smaller amount of data, and the statistics on there will automatically update. So this is a great way for looking at a set of data that are supposed to be about constant, because you can find the average. Whenever you're done gathering that data, you can either take this window off to the side so that you can save it, or you can click on the X to close it. The second thing that you can do with Logger Pro is you can find rates of change. So here we have a piece of the graph where the slope shows that the temperature is increasing. If I wanted to find, for example, how fast the temperature was rising in, say, degrees Celsius per minute, I could highlight the sloped part of the data where the temperature is changing, and then I can click on the button for a linear fit. That's this button here with a line. I could also go to Analyze and ask it to do a linear fit. Either way, those brackets and the window appear, showing me that for this selection of data, the slope was 7.582 degrees Celsius per minute. So I have that rate of change right there. Again, I have the brackets that I can slide back and forth. And when I'm done, I can drag this over to the side, and the arrow will follow it along. So those are a couple of tools that you can use with Logger Pro. Logger Pro doesn't have an easy way to get the graph out as a document, as an image, but you can just screen capture this so that you can insert it into your document, and you can copy down any of these numbers that you need. I'm just going to make a quick pause to see if there was anything else I wanted to share with you. Yes, there was. One last piece that I should share with you, of course, is how you save your file. So when you go to File, Save, it will ask you to name the file something other than Untitled and ask you where you want to save it. Logger profiles are, so let me add water. This is for me, you would want to do paraffin, but this is water heating curve. Yours is going to be the paraffin cooling curve. Logger profiles use the extension .cmbl. So that's what you're going to find, and now you have your data saved. If you ever close Logger Pro, you can go into File, Open Recent, and you'll see the .cmbl files that you've used recently. I've used a lot. You will probably just have this one. Okay. Once you've got this done, if you needed to do it on your own with Zoom closed, then you can come back to Zoom so that you can ask questions about finishing up the activity for the day. Thanks.